This weekend's flooding in Kentucky is a reminder of nature's power and the risks of climate change to add to that power. According to climate risk modeling company First Street, climate change could cause a $1.4 trillion loss in property value over the coming decades. For tonight's interview, we talked to First Street's head of climate implications research, Jeremy Porter, about the increased risks. Jeremy, I want to start with the top line finding. This finding that 1.47 trillion in reduction in unadjusted real estate values will take place over the next 30 years. Help me explain that. What would that look like, say, for just like a regular house? What kind of activity needs to take place?
Yeah, the report's really interesting in the sense that we're really focused on a lot of these indirect impacts of climate exposure on property value. A couple of different things are happening right now. We're seeing big increases in the insurance market, the additional cost of homeowner, sort of cost of that insurance and the burden of homeownership, along with the fact that we're starting to see climate data on sites like Zillow and on Realtor.com and on Redfin.com, and people are making climate-informed decisions about where to move. And ultimately, over a long period of time, we end up seeing that make its way into the property value market.
So that 1.47 trillion is essentially the aggregate of all these little decisions.
Yes.
Somebody's saying, you know what, insurance rates are too high here. You know what, we're having more weather events. We're going to move, and so the house that they lived in, which might have been at one price, drops because of those factors. Is that essentially it?
Yeah, that's it. And what we're seeing is it's not macro migration patterns. We're not seeing people leave Houston and go to Minnesota. What we're seeing are people want to live in Miami. They want to live in Houston. Their jobs are in the area. Their family networks are there. But what they're saying is, when I'm looking for a property, I want to reduce my flood risk from an 8 to a 7 or to a 6 or to a 5.
Tell me about states. What's the national picture look like in terms of areas that are more likely to see people leave than not?
We're really seeing the biggest impacts in some of our fastest growing states: California, Texas, Florida, Louisiana, a lot of the southern tier states. What we used to call kind of the Rust Belt to the Sun Belt migration is really where we're seeing this biggest impact. Those have been the places that have grown the fastest over the last half century, but they're also the places that are seeing the most impact from climate.
Have you seen any communities through local government or otherwise work to mitigate this fear among the citizenry?
A lot of communities are. Even here in New York, we've seen over on the East River, they're building a brand new park. There's a lot of adaptation features built into that park. There are seawalls built in. There are green spaces to absorb floodwaters in case there is a flood. So there are things that people are doing to protect the community. But we're also seeing that homeowners themselves are telling other homeowners, like when they're on Zillow or something like that, and they're trying to sell their home, they're telling people, I put a hardened roof on my home. I've cleared the defensible space around my home. And that's a marketing indicator now on the properties.
Wow, so it's not just wood-burning fireplace, it's can withstand the likely climate effects that are coming.
Yeah, it's number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, number of square foot, and what's the elevation of the property.
Wow.
Yeah.
Next 5-10 years, when you're doing this report, what are you expecting to see?
We're already starting to see people make climate-informed decisions, and one of the biggest trends that we've seen is that we've taken this data. We've seen that people that are exposed to the data on the real estate platforms are systematically choosing lower risk properties than people that aren't exposed to it. So our expectation is that as this data becomes more aware, as people start to pay more attention to it, you're going to see people migrating to communities that are safer in general, but also you're just going to see more climate-informed decisions, and that's going to drive up property values in some areas and ultimately drive down property values in others.